and everything. Want to thank everyone that's been on the show. Abakunda Crooze FM, abakunda the Urban Breakfast, kuguman turikiriza burwa mkaga. Our time is out. Let's do this next Saturday, same time, same show, same people. We're out.
Baby, follow baby. See, Urban Breakfast. It's the weekend you've been waiting for on 91.2 Crooze FM.
The back-to-school season should not be a stressful period for you because MTN Momo School Fees Loan has got you covered. Get a school fees loan on Momo straight to your child's school and pay school fees instantly. Dial *165*80# to apply for a school fees loan and pay school fees. You also get a chance to win school fees for a whole year when you pay fees via Momo. MTN Mobile Money Uganda Limited is regulated by the Bank of Uganda. This promotional competition has been approved by the National Lotteries and Gaming Regulatory Board. Sunday Blues.
Today's been nothing short.
Jazz Junction. Jazz Junction on 91.2 Crooze FM. Great music, great friends.
conversation. The Big Seat starts now on 91.2 Crooze FM. Great music.
Great music.
Great friends.
Great friends.
It's tough. It's bold. It's real politics. The Big Seat.
Right, it's 4 minutes past 9 o'clock on Western Uganda's biggest radio station, 91.2 Crooze FM. Great music, great friends. Welcome to the Big Set. My name is Wesige Banyadi, right here on Plot 12, Motile and Mbara City. The land of milk and honey is where we're airing from. But don't forget that you can catch the show online on cruisefm.com/stream and on Crooze TV for TikTok and YouTube. So go on your internet, just type in Crooze TV. You'll be able to watch all that is happening right here on Plot 12 seamlessly like that. Now, to be a part of the conversation this morning, you drop us a line on our social media handles, 912 Crooze FM on X and 91.2 Crooze FM on Facebook. The numbers to call is 0752-912-912 and 780-912-910. Now, our topic of discussion is already on our social media platforms. We're talking about the situation that we witnessed this week. President Museveni ordered the postponement of the prayers that were slated to those that are incarcerated, especially Dr. Kizza Besigye and all political prisoners, on intelligence that it could have been politically motivated. So we want to know and hear from you. Was the president in order to stop the prayers because perhaps it was intended for very ill motive? Now, before we get into that topic of discussion, let me give you a rewind of the week. Now, President Museveni, in a bizarre, if you ask me, pardoned Pine Carbon proprietor Muhammad Sewumfu, who was convicted in 2019 for kidnap, aggravated robbery, and the murder of a client, Betty Donna Katshabe. Mixed feelings, if you ask me. There have been people saying the president made an error in this because this was literally some kind of injustice. Donna is 6 feet under, and this man is now scot-free. People are now questioning the essence of Article 21, is it the Council Guide, the 21 of the Constitution that gives power to the president to pardon those that have been convicted and serving. The High Court ruled that the widow of Mole Katanga must answer charges in connection with the death of her husband, businessman Henry Katanga. This is literally the whole public is there to find whether Mole Katanga will be scot-free, will be let scot-free or convicted for those particular charges. We're following that very closely. Now, the Directorate of Government Analytical Laboratories has urged Parliament to approve a budget of $2 billion for the procurement of a specialized equipment to determine the actual age of individuals. I think there's been a problem of age. So the race for speakership is on. It's something that we're going to be touching a little bit. Now, Uganda's 12th Parliament has testified for at least 5 individuals expressing interest. Most notable is Pastors Namuganza, Norbert Mao, and Lydia Wanyoto, and a couple of other individuals that have expressed interest to be Speaker of the 12th Parliament. We're following this very closely, but we also know that the Central Executive Committee of the National Resistance Movement and Parliamentary Caucus literally agreed that the status quo should be maintained. Since it's literally been tradition, we are here to see whether the NRM will move away from these. Now, President Museveni has also given a green light, was given green light to be sworn in. Now, the Supreme Court allowed the formal withdrawal of the petition challenging his victory in the January 15th presidential election there. Then Makerere University graduated over 9,000 graduates this week, of which 5,000 were male and about 4,200 were female. We had 230. We congratulate those that were able to make it. The market is waiting for you. Will the numbers be accommodated? It's something that we shall also be tackling a little bit. Let me welcome the team. Good morning, Edgar Mtunson. Welcome to the big set.
Yes, good morning, Lady. It's good to be here. So last week has been a very interesting week with a lot of events. And also we have been having a great art exhibition to be having with the Royal Irish Embassy. So it's been a good week for me and happy to be here.
All right. Good morning, Ronaldo Kankwatsa, and welcome to the big set.
Thank you for having me, Council Banyaji. Good morning to you, to fellow panelists, and the lovers of the big seat out there, especially the young people. My name is Ronaldo Kankwatsa, and I like to describe myself as an advocate for youth inclusion and a catalyst for youth-led transformation. So, Banyaji, my being here, I appreciate, and as a voice of the young people out there, contributing to national politics and national development, it's always a pleasure. Wesige, this week actually, what you forgot to tell us about is the EU Parliament's debate on Uganda's political situation.
Yes.
Especially after the 2026 general elections. And I think the EU actually actually got interest in Uganda's politics. And we saw the EU Parliament debate on the political situation in Uganda. We saw the EU actually hosting Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu and Sarah Birete on the political situation. But however much Ugandans are trying to say that we are a sovereign state, so the EU should not actually interfere with the local politics here, I think it's also necessary for us to be actually transparent in our electoral processes and whatever. And I think it is a good gesture because we are a beneficiary of so much funding from the European Union, including the Global Gateway Strategy, where over 200 million euros from the EU countries in projects of energy transition, sustainable agriculture and tourism. So it's a good gesture, and we have to be transparent in those in such procedures. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome, Ronald. Maybe what I forgot is that offshore there is a gentleman called El Mecho, who is a drug lord in Mexico, who was gunned down in a very serious operation. But also here in Congo, this gentleman, Wile Ngoma, the spokesperson of the M23, was killed in airstrike. So that we shall also be following very closely. Good morning, Apollo Tumsime, and welcome to the big set.
Good morning, Wesige, and the listeners of the big seat. It's always a pleasure to be here. My name is Apollo Tumsime, and I'm from the Alliance for National Transformation. It has been a while. I think I was last year before we were heading for the 2026 general elections. So I never had an opportunity to discuss what transpired, of course. That is a story for another day. But yeah, personally, my life is good. I got a baby girl 2 weeks back.
Congratulations.
I also know my friend Nelson also got a baby around.
Knowing that you've been having boys, it must be feeling very good.
I'm feeling very good. Of course, I know it's not the best thing to have a baby in a situation where we don't know where the political tectonic plates are shaping.
Gentlemen, let's listen.
You know, I was saying that it's not the best thing now to father a baby given the situation that we have in the country. We don't know how things are going to be because we are not going to be part of that generation.
Apollo Tumsime making it sound like in Gaza or Ukraine. This country is peaceful border to border.
Yes, I would say so, but according to what we see now, we don't know where we are headed to. So I would try to advise people before you think about fathering a baby or making one. Let's first define how we are going to shape the politics and the governance of the country. I'm saying I am grateful, but it's not the best thing. Maybe I can find out. I can manage. Yeah. So
yes,
we'll be let's discuss the politics.
Welcome, Apollo Tumsime. My long-time friend Nelson Asim has made it back to the big seat after literally about 5 years or something. About 5 years. Welcome, and welcome to the big seat.
Thank you so much, Westige, and good morning. Good morning to the panelists and good morning to the listeners of the big seat. I'm so happy to be back, and while I was away, a number of things happened. Of course, we were in politics, and I remember sharing with the council that for me I didn't vote because on the day of voting, I was from Barara, and goons surrounded me and picked me from a car at between Rubinde and Ruhumba. So they drove me through the mountains and they took me to Nsika. Nsika is in Buweju. I was there for 2 days. Then the third day at around 10 in the night, I was dropped in a forest. But thank God,
you're sounding like it was a movie.
It's really a movie. And you know, when you are not in Uganda, and when I say when you are not in Uganda, because we have so many people who are in Uganda, but they pretend as if they're in the United States. But Uganda is like that. So the country is bleeding, and I think I joined my brother Apollo, because on that same day, my wife was in the hospital and she had given birth to a baby girl. So when I was in the forest, I was looking at my daughter and I was like, sincerely speaking,
you are in the bush.
Will my girl grow up in such an environment? So friends, when we are talking about the things that are happening in this country, I think it's high time for us to join the hands together and we really fight so that we get a better Uganda, not only for us but for our children and our children's children. But I'm happy to be back. I'm happy to see my brother Wenje and all the fellow panelists.
Thank you so much. Welcome, Nelson Asime. I'm happy to see you. And it's sad that you are put in the forest. But
for us all to join our voices, because regardless of your political affiliation, these things can happen to you. So something has to be done. And for me, another concern, the issue of fighting wars here and there. We've been looking at Ukraine and Russia for all those years. Then we saw the, of course, for all those years. Then we saw the, of course, South Sudan, what is happening there all over the world. But specifically now, my concern is about Afghanistan and Pakistan. Considering those people are fasting right now, but you see what is happening. We are still waiting for this warmonger who was threatening to attack Iran. And now but even those things happening in Afghanistan and Pakistan and other countries, I believe and I'm very sure that this warmonger is behind it somewhere, somehow. So I don't know what this world is waiting to do about this man, I mean Trump. People are keeping quiet, everyone is keeping quiet. I don't know what is going to happen. But for me, I think his dream is seeing a third world war, and that is what he's fighting for. Okay. Thank you so much.
Welcome, Sifu Safi, to the big seat. My good friend, the land Buenzados did it. Yes. Welcome to the big seat. But I know you posted the ruling, if at all I could call it, by justice. By
cold blood. And but of course, it is just a tip of the iceberg. Let's not forget that the husband of that spouse who died is from Western Uganda.
I think she was buried just this week.
No, it is today, I think.
The gentleman was buried in sorrow.
Yes, the spouse is also from Western Uganda. Even the child is from Western Uganda. Even the deputy OC of that prison is also from Western Uganda.
What are you trying to say?
Even the third in command is also from Western Uganda.
What is that supposed to mean?
That's very dangerous because it shows us that the resources of Uganda are not being equitably distributed. The constitution, you see, you cannot have the top ranking officers of a government institution come from the same region. You can't have that.
But
from Rwampara,
the lady came from Rwampara, the other one came from
Chiga.
Sunday Love, that's every Sunday 9 a.m. to midday, as I play all your favorite love songs and give you a chance to connect to your friends, your family and your loved ones. And be sure to follow us on social media: Facebook 91.2 Crooze FM, Twitter at 912 Crooze FM. You can also get us on www.cruisefm.com. Remember, it's Sunday Love, 9 a.m. to midday.
Sunday Love.
This thing with you and I.
Sunday Love.
Sunday Love.
On 91.2 Crooze FM. Great music.
Great music.
Great friends.
Great friends.
Turn it up.
Let's go. It's better than karaoke.
politically motivated, cancelled those prayers that were supposed to really stand in for Dr. Besigye in prayer and all that. We are talking about this. I want you to drop us a line on our social media handles so that you'll be able to contribute to our show. On 912 Crooze FM on X and 91.2 Crooze FM on Facebook. The numbers to call for Madilu in Hima, for Chris and Saja, for Agava and everybody that is an ardent contributor to the big seat on 752 912 912 and 780 912 910. I have Sifa Safi, I have Apollo Tumsime, I have Edgar Mtunsa, Nelson Asimwe, Akankwata Ronald, and Kanso Bwenje. Those did it. Let me go to Edgar. Edgar, was it only right for the president to think, wait a minute, what is this whole thing that these elements are trying to do? Gathering and using the Catholic Church that has been known for accepting and accommodating opposition elements. We know that a father from Masaka, Sekabira, I think, was charged for certain offenses, and a couple of politicians, especially those in the national resistance movement, have come out to state that there are priests and bishops, especially in the Catholic Church, that are pro-opposition. And maybe based on this kind of intelligence that the president had, and it's on this basis that he cancelled some of these particular activities. Was the president in order?
Yes, thank you so much. I would say, I think I remember that time when we were having some arguments some time back. I don't remember the argument, but I remember the point.
Yes.
The point was that certain things are legal, but they not to be moral, or something of the kind. I think legally, definitely, of course, and also in terms of theory, there's this whole theory of how the state has got to be separate from the church, and so you don't interfere and all that. But in most cases, that is really ideal, as you might know. Already from the example you just gave, the circumstances where the church can be politicized, and also sometimes it's in the interest of the church to be political, because they also have a population they want to appeal to, and that happens. But also the same thing can happen on the side of the state. The state definitely will have an interest, and where the church. So I think the president was in order to do whatever he did, though I don't think it was right. So I think, for instance, it's not. It wouldn't be proper that people said to have mass in that institution, to pray for prisoners. These are things that the church does everywhere throughout the world. The church, you've always known it, that in their way, and one mode of them contributing to justice and also contributing to general being of society, is that they always pray for prisoners. They've always done this in their tradition, the Roman tradition. So I think it was really a bad thing for the Catholic Church that then could be stopped by a president to continue this role that the church has always played in all other places. I don't think that was fine. But also, I don't think the church also had an option. The church definitely had to accept. So there are people who, normally also ideally, you might think the church is definitely above the state in many ways, and which might be true, because when you look at even the structure politically, you see the Pope is ranked higher than the King or Queen of England, and then than even the US president and all that. At the global, of course, the church has a lot of power, but also the president has some power and can do many things to the church, because the church has a lot of projects. So I think it's such a very complicated relationship that they had to.
Thank you, Ronald. We know very well that just a few days before this order, we were celebrating the Janan Loom Day, and this is a man that was put down because of the things that he believed in and advocated for. Maybe so many believers in the Catholic Church thought maybe the Archbishop would stand his ground and object to the president. Was this a surprise to you?
It wasn't actually a surprise to me, but first of all, Banyaji, I think President Museveni still recognizes Besigye as the biggest political threat in his entire leadership, leadership journey. You have Besigye, who has contested since 2001, lost, contested in 2006, 2011, still losing, but still strong, actually, opposition leader. you may say that even the masses that Bobby Wine has right now, it is because maybe Dr. Chiza Besigye has quitted elective politics. So Mr. Museveni does not underrate Besigye in his own capacity and the influence and magnitude of Besigye in his position as a career politician. So why would the president, first of all, stop the prayers? Museveni's style of leadership for the past decade, I think, he has concentrated more on actually popularizing himself, appealing to the masses, reaching out to people. Actually, he has paraded himself as someone who is most loved by Ugandans, if I can call it that. You had him last 2 years campaigning all over the country about PDM, touring people who have bought 2 pigs from 1 million, who have bought rabbits, who are rearing chicken, and this is it's a political motive. Yes. He's trying to show the public that maybe he cares so much. He's the most popular Ugandan, most loved Ugandan, and you saw him in 2016, 2017. Actually also traversing the entire country in what we saw as the Land Act campaign, when they wanted to amend Article 26 of the Constitution that allows government to acquire private land to do public infrastructure. Yet with ministers, with RDCs, with every other human resource that could have done that job. So Mr. Museveni, having actually set that strategy and seeing Besigye as someone, now the church is coming together with Besigye. Ugandans are trying to plead with Besigye to say that we stand with him even if he is incarcerated. That actually brings a challenge to Mr. Museveni, that this man is trying to take a show away from me. And that is why, that is the only reason why he couldn't allow prayers.
You're making it seem like
yes,
it's a matter of let the light only shine on me, and I can't allow that light to shine on any other person.
Exactly.
Is that the argument?
And exactly, and you see, I'm going to come. I'm going to come on that.
Please.
And Mr. Museveni, you see, I think he is a student of politics, and according to Robert Greene, the 48 Laws of Power, Law 15 says that you have to crush your enemy totally, both in body and spirit. So that is why Museveni cannot allow Besigye to have even the spirit, first of all, because he's already in prison, and also that the masses should not actually follow him.
Okay.
Secondly, how Mr. Museveni has been dealing with opposition for the last 40 years, maybe he has been in power. One, he has to give you a job if you are a threat to his political journey, and Besigye actually declined that. He never allowed to work with Mr. Museveni. If you decline a job, they will actually try to buy you, like you saw Museveni give FDC a lot of money that destabilized it up to now. Thirdly, it is to replace you, repression of dissent. That is what is happening to Besigye right now. And to me, however much Edig is trying to say that it was moral, or no, it was actually illegal for Museveni to order the stopping of prayers or postponement of prayers, as they call it. In my own suggestion, it was not right, legally and even morally. First of all, you have the security agents. If you say that this is out of intelligence, that these prayers must be politically motivated, you have the RDCs. They are not aware of such arrangement. You have the commission of RDCs, Fred Bamwine, saying that I am not aware of such order from the president. I'm not aware of. You have intelligence officers. If this was politically motivated, they could have investigated and actually maybe informed either the president or the security. This is actually
let's allow him conclude.
They are not sure. They are not even aware. They were not even aware of. So this could have been done in a good way if this was not a personal issue between Museveni and Besigye. And I regard this as a personal issue, not even a threat to the security of the country or something. It is a personal issue between Museveni and Besigye.
Thank you. Yes, before I move to Apollo.
Just for clarity, I think my brother also have to appreciate there's nothing like intelligence sharing between RDCs and the president. The RDCs intelligence does not become intelligence after it has been shared with the RDCs, then there would be no point.
Then what is the structure?
Then the commander in chief
of the movement.
So yes, the RDC, the RDC that you talked about, that you mentioned, was not aware of the announcement. Not necessarily not aware of the intelligence. And even then, it's not supposed to be that much aware of the whole intelligence details. Yes, that's how it works. If everyone accesses the intelligence, then there is weird. That's no intelligence. Then that means the RDC can also as well go ahead and become a president.
Okay.
But secondly, but that's because it's very important also to appreciate the issue of martyrdom. The reason why Osama bin Laden, who was killed, and yet up to now we don't know where he was buried, it's because sometimes you fear what will be the repercussions of martyrdom. So, and I think this was the mind of the president and also the mind of intelligence, that act at Lubaga could as well have sparked that war spirit. The murder and all. It's not speculation. This is very important.
Let me get to yes.
If you have some time,
I will. I went to the ex-handle of General David Sejusa, and he said, "Well, let's get back to the origin of the ADF." This was a group that was had a disagreement in Islamic faith and all that. General Kazin went in there. They were having prayers, and before they know it, because of a particular act of the state, these elements were radicalized. Before they knew it, they were setting up base in the Congo, and so many Ugandans have lost lives to the ADF because of an act of that sort. Then that could mean that the president is right to preempt some of the moves that could trigger a movement that Edgar is alluding to.
Yes, thank you so much, Wanyaji. Yeah, I want to give two positions. Of course, usually when there is a topic like this, you need to understand where, depending on which side you're standing, but I want to give two sides. First of all, any organized group in politics, you have to pick interest, especially when they are organized and then they have one goal or something that is unifying them. You have to pick interest because at a certain point they can turn into something else. That's why you've seen President Museveni has been following up with even churches, those of Kayanja, Bujingo, this God from, I don't know, the one from Bunyoro or Sobozo Bisaka, those groupings, he has been trying to bring them closer so that he can monitor them, what happens. So other than that case, we have had some cases like the kidnap and the murder of Susan Magara, saying that it was planned from Usafi Mosque. So within the mosque, people come and sit and then start discussing how they can create a crime or do something bad. So it is always in interest of the state to know what's happening with such kind of organizations. But then President Museveni has intelligence. He has CMI. He has ISO. These people could have just come and also attended, be part of the congregation at Lubaga, so that they can take notes. And yes, they can take notes. And in any case, something is not right, they communicate to the president. So I understand the president has interest in that and could have maybe became skeptical of the whole thing, how it was planned and how it came to the news. And given that the people that we are going to attend, their category, all of them from these opposition political groups, it was also in the interest of the president. But by and large, this country, of course, our motto is for God and my country, so we put God first in each and everything. Leave alone the rhetoric by General Mhoza of the Bachwezi and the like, but we put God first. And I know President Museveni has also, on several occasions, we've seen pastors praying for him. I go to Anglican church every Sunday. There is a prayer somewhere in the prayer book where we recite that we pray for President Museveni every Sunday. Every church has to pray for President Museveni. Everywhere, actually, even in the Catholic Church. I don't know for
the Catholics, a bit rigid. They pray for the Pope and the Archbishop.
Yeah.
And they pray for the President.
So for the Anglican, it's compulsory. You have to mention we pray for President. Yes, you have to mention all the Museveni. Even when he changes to Haruka, you have to add the name. So he receives all these a lot of prayers each and every other day. So it is okay. So it won't be in good good interest of him to deny other people to receive a similar prayer. I've also when Evangelist Ben Hinn came, had to go to State House and lay hands on the president. So it has to be justified. So given that in his house, a president, he has a daughter who is a pastor, Patience Ruwabogo. So it's not like he's not a religious person. Even the wife.
The first family is really religious.
Yes, even the first lady is too religious. Like she's a born again. She talks about God every time. So it would be it was not my right, like Edgar said, to see you really postponing mere prayers which you can monitor because you have security everywhere, you have machines planted everywhere, so you could just monitor that and know the prayers.
Let's listen to Apollo.
Yes, allow the prayers to go on. So what I wanted to say, that yes, there is this security tendencies. And like Akankwasa said, now that Bob Wine is we don't know where he is, Nelson will tell us, but now that Bob Wine is not around, we are again trying to define who takes the mantle of the opposition, and everything again zeroes down to Dr. Besige at the time, because the loop is seemingly nowhere. The vice presidents are all battling with charges in courts and everywhere. So the PFF and other people in the politics are trying to define who takes the leadership again. And President Museveni is like, now we are not going to release Besige now. He tells us that we should demand for quick trial. I don't know how to demand for a quick trial. Me personally, I can only.
The lawyers are here. They will guide.
Yes, I don't know how to demand for, because he says let's demand for a quick trial. I don't know how to demand for a quick trial. Whether I have to go to High Court and stage a procession and say please try Besige. So we are still trying to define how we can organize our side as opposition. And we are still looking out all those opposition godfathers that we have had in times, so that we can move forward. So 2007 was illegally right but morally wrong to stop a mere prayer of prisoners, because it's everywhere. But I know, like Dr. Matembe said, you cannot underestimate the power of the Holy Spirit. I remember when we had Black Monday protests around, I think 2013, 2012, led by Bishop Zach Nilingi. There was one pastor called Dungabo when he was who was leading prayers. The time he was touched, like they wanted to arrest him, there was a lightning strike at the State House in Nakasero. So you cannot underestimate the powers of the Holy Spirit, that they can touch.
I don't know where Pastor Ngabo
I don't know
went.
that can influence the decision of the decision of President Museveni to allow Besige get released, and he wouldn't wish to have that. So he is using his powers to not allow the Holy Spirit to take course. But we will see how it ends.
Thank you, Apollo. Nelson, you're using underhand methods as opposition to literally create an uprising, and you're mobilizing and all these elements. Yes. And the president is saying we are watching, and if at all you're going to use religion to organize and create resistance against the state, we shall preempt it. What do you think?
Thank you so much, Wesige. And for me, I'm very happy for two reasons. You know, we've been telling people that the entire country is under family capture, and people have been denying. But now, what happened, I think, gave us the audacity to show people that this is exactly what we've been telling you. Number two, we've just finished an election, and Museveni claims that he got 71%. And I'm using the word claims deliberately, because you can't be in an election and then you win by 71%, and then you choose to give these other opponents, you choose to give them whatever that you gave them, and then you are just afraid of just a mere prayer. you cannot say that Museveni was what he did. What Apollo said, that it was illegal but unethical. It was
legal but immoral.
No. It wasn't. It was illegal. It was satanic. It was full of everything. And I think. But you see, for us who read the Bible, there is a man in the Bible who is called Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar was a Babylonian king, and in Babylon, every other family, every other household had their own god. And there was an uprising between the Israelites and then the Babylonian kingdom. Then what happened later? Nebuchadnezzar mistreated the children of Israel. But at the end of it all, Nebuchadnezzar died while he was eating grass. And I think that's where we are headed to as a country. We've had a Nebuchadnezzar for the last 40 years. But this Nebuchadnezzar was putting on a mask. And because of the mask, people had not realized that we have a Nebuchadnezzar at the helm of our leadership. But now that Nebuchadnezzar has been unmasked, because what was there? What was political in people gathering in a church, not just a small church, but this is a cathedral. This is the headquarters of the entire Catholic Church in Uganda. And this service, it was planned. It didn't just happen from nowhere. It was planned. It was announced. And everything was in order and everything was written. Now, from nowhere, you tell us that because Winnie says that the Archbishop told her that the president called him and told him that this service seems political. And now, the question that we should all ask ourselves as Ugandans, because at times, when we are discussing these things, we should discuss them as Ugandans, irrespective of our political affiliations, irrespective of the colors, whichever. But as a country, as Ugandans, who wish this country well. Now, what was political? Number two, what defines a political mass? Number three, these guys are saying the intelligence, you people don't fool us around. What was the intelligence? What was the intelligence? People are coming to pray. The Archbishop was the main celebrant. Even if they had a book of the order of service, everything that was to be done was written in a book. And you come out and say it was intelligence. Then that is stupid intelligence. So, friends, as a country, if we want to see our country move from this level of tyranny to a new level, then there are things that we must discuss with a serious eye, with a different lens. Because when you put on a political lens, then you will miss out a point, or you will just come to defend just for the sake of defending, or to oppose just for the sake of opposing. So there was nothing political, and as opposition, because that thing wasn't organized by political parties. No. Winnie is a wife to Dr. Besigye. She doesn't hold any position in any political party.
Thank you. Let me at least get to Sifa. Sifa, this is part of liturgy of the Catholic Church. They pray for the sick, they pray for the incarcerated, they pray for the vulnerable. Winnie and Kiza were married at Lubaga Cathedral. Why are you so cold as the state that you could even not allow Dr. Besigye to be prayed for in a space that once she was wedded with a wife, she calls home, being a member of the Catholic Church? This was part of liturgy, Sifo.
Did you say why are you?
I meant the state.
I mean, did you say why are you including me?
No, I meant the state. Okay, why is the state?
That sounds better.
Please go right ahead.
Thank you so much, Manyaji. And thank you so much for my friends for their submissions. One, I must acknowledge that there is freedom of worship in this country, but at the same time, people have to be reminded that at the end of the day, it is the state that has to somehow monitor and regulate these religious beliefs and different groups. There was a time when there were different cults in this country. Banyaji, I'm not saying that is a cult, but I'm trying to give you an example. of regulation and supervision and monitoring. These people are saying their children do not go to school. Their children cannot go to the hospital when they are sick. No voting, no putting on this and that, no using this and the other. And of course, in this century, in this day and age that we are in, Banyaji, some of these things cannot happen. So state came out and actually, as far as I can remember, some of these people were arrested. So you can say that it is freedom of worship, let people do what they want. No. I'm not going to buy this idea of saying that intelligence, where is the report? I don't think any of us here qualifies to be reported to by intelligence, whether CMI, whether whatever it is. If they were to report, they reported where they were supposed to report. I'm not saying it's true they did, because I'm not sure of that, but I'm saying if it is so, if it is true, then they reported where they reported. Because someone said here, I think it is my friend Akankwasa, that it is not true because Mr. RDC, who Bamine did not know. I don't know when he became the spokesperson of the intelligence groups and whatever, but what I know is that there are respective people for different things to be done. So for me, if they said no, if according to what we see, this thing is not supposed to, it's a mass, Yes. It's not supposed to be here today. Maybe let's postpone for these people to. And let me tell you, Banyaji, whether it is religion, whether it is these people who organize events and whatever, you have to make sure that you coordinate with people who are in charge. If it is security, if it is what, that is a very big church. You said it's called a cathedral, and there are very important people, big people, their names. We are not talking about a Safi or a Banyaji or an Edgar somewhere. We are talking about Dr. Chiza Besigye, meaning that people who are going to be attracted there, people of class and status and whatever. So you cannot just say, because someone said here that they should have let these people go there and sit and make notes. I think it is my friend Apollo who said the intelligence people should have sat. No, but there is something, I'm not a lawyer, but there is something they call preventive arrest. You don't say now what have you done? If I suspect you arrest and detain somehow for that. Now if you have a gun and you're moving around Banyaji, it is not safe, you can go to the nearest police station which take off for safe custody. So if you think they should have sat there to wait and see, I'm not saying they're planning to do this and that because I'm not sure, but I'm saying if intelligence is saying they thought this thing was politically motivated and they expected some negative
why didn't perhaps another person would ask you, why wouldn't the same intelligence in 2000 preempt the Chibweted arrangement?
Exactly, and that is why
did the state fail at that?
Banyaji, whatever happens every time is a lesson for you to pick. So I ever be reluctant the other time when Chibweted killed a number of people. I'm not saying this is a Chibweted type because they didn't quite at when, but I'm saying this time around preventive measures are much better. If they thought it was not safe for those many people to be there, then they postponed it well and good. My another question is, someone said that Winnie Byanyima, who was behind it, is not a politician, is not a member of any political party. Who tells you that? By the way, even in war, people who cannot easily be identified are the most dangerous people. If you think you're waiting to see someone in a uniform carrying a gun, there are people there moving around like any other ordinary person, and they're so dangerous, collecting information and all that. So if you think Winnie Byanyima cannot organize any politically motivated thing, you must think again. And then finally, Banyaji,
yes,
I want to tell people that in Rwanda, the genocide of 1994, things started like that in church. Someone goes to church and you think it's called a sermon. Then you start saying, for us, we are neglected, we are left behind. Like someone was saying that these people who are killed, the prison warders, are from a particular region. So such things, people can build on such things, and a lot of bloodshed we see a lot of bloodshed in this country. So if you think that these statements made in church are very clean and the angels are, no. People can stand in churches, Banyaji, and they start fire in this country and actually in the whole region.
Thank you. Yes. Let me get to Bwenje. For those that don't know, Bwenje is atheist. I think I'm allowed to say.
Humanist. I'm a humanist.
He's a humanist.
Come on the show on Saturday because I was part of a panel to address the humanist convention of the world.
Did this mass happening or not happening bother you? Since for you
it bothers me because I believe that even if I don't believe in God, there are people who do so, and it is not a crime. Yeah, because Article 7 and Article 29 of our Constitution provide for the freedom of religion and worship, but that also means freedom from religion and worship. So I may believe in nothing or something, but I don't want to concentrate on Museveni because we all know him as a coward. He's a person who is so much afraid of the opposition. He's paranoid. He's paranoid. He's drunk with power and so forth. But I'll focus on the Archbishop Paul. There was a song made by Kenny Rogers, the card of the county. Now, the card of the week is the Archbishop. You cannot see, as the head of the Catholic Church, you must know that he owes them a responsibility as the head. Now, if he can abide by that illegal order of Museveni to cancel a mass of that stature, then it means he can also admit or accept a directive of Museveni to poison Bobby Wine in Holy Communion. Now,
cancel.
Yes,
cancel.
No.
Haven't you pushed it too far?
No. I have the freedom of speech, my friend.
That freedom.
I have the freedom to. Yes, I have the freedom to express my opinion the way I
but
think.
You don't have freedom of hate speech.
That's not hate speech. That's not hate speech.
No.
If you can say no. If you can say that Museveni is right to stop the Archbishop from praying for somebody, and it is somebody's inherent right as a believer to be prayed for.
But if the president, if the president as the fountain of honor and the commander-in-chief of the armed forces has information that this mass is going to be used
Where is that information?
Against public interest.
Where is that information? You see, public interest under the constitution, you must prove that the restriction or the stopping someone from the enjoyment of a right is justified in the public interest. We have not received any information that there was going to be either violence or chaos from that mass.
Did it first have to happen for you to know that there was a possibility?
No, you see, you cannot just stop a mass without informing people why you are stopping it. True. People have a right to worship, and if you are going to curtail that right, it must only be in the public interest, and we are not at all aware of any information or danger that was going to arise from that mass.
Okay.
So I want to be very straightforward and say that the Archbishop should be careful. It's not just about obeying superior orders. You must obey only orders which are lawful and which do not curtail the fundamental freedoms of the people of Uganda. Okay? And in future, once such a directive occurs, he should not abide by it, whether it is from the President of Uganda, from the CDF, or from the IGP. He should not.
All right, we're stopping for a short bumper. When we come back right into our second hour of the show, I'll be able to open the lines so that you contribute to the topic of discussion. Don't touch your radio. We'll be right back shortly. Good morning.
It's tough. It's bold. It's real.
friends.
All right, we are back. It's 2 minutes past 10 o'clock on Western Uganda's biggest radio station, 91.2 Crooze FM. Great music. Good friends. It's blazing real hot in studio because people are debating morals and law. It's literally impossible. It depends on where you're standing. My name is Wesige Banyaji, definitely. We're going real good up to 11 o'clock. Now I'm on plot 12, Mutile. Now, if you find reason to have me be paid a salary, please come and advertise with us so that we can be able to generate a bit of that, so that the big set happens and I'm happy and the month is almost literally coming to an end, the salary week, literally. So if you're a business owner, if you have an event, if you have anything and you want the message to reach the people, please come in and we shall welcome you with a very good rates for advertising. Don't wait for November Love to do swaps and all that. Give us some money and we shall be able to give you the mileage that you need. My name is Wesige Banyaji. I have a team with me in studio. Sifa Safi, Bwenje Deus did it, Ronald Akankwatsa, Apollo Tumsime, Edgar Mtundsa, Nelson Asimwe, and we're talking about what happened this week when President Museveni ordered for the postponement of the prayers that were supposed to be for Dr. Vesige and friends, especially those that are incarcerated in jail for all these other different offenses against the state. Now, I want to listen from you. Now, I want to hear from you. Sifa, and there's a man called, I think it's Madilu, and there's so many callers that definitely love you and give us this feedback. And the people of Chitagwenda, Ivanda, I know Cliff was here last week. I know Muvunya was here last week. And the people of Kaso at least were represented by my friend Asima Nelson here. The people of Buhweju and all these places, we appreciate you. You and Tonde are the ardent listeners of the big set. You make us feel real good and thank you so much. Now, to be a part of the conversation, you call in on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. Now, for those that want to send messages, go on our social media handles, 912 Crooze FM on X and 91.2 Crooze FM on Facebook, YouTube, type in Crooze TV. You will be able to watch us seamlessly. All this is happening on plot 12, Mutilen. Let me come to Edgar before I get to pick up calls. What is the problem? Why is it so hard to discern the role of the intelligence of agencies to be able to preempt anything that could jeopardize the security and tranquility of the state and the country at large?
The only problem we have now in this studio
is
the hypocrisy with our good friends here who want to show that they have complete disregard or complete misunderstanding of how the state functions, of how security should function. They claim, we must understand, Mr. Naji, first of all, at the core of this whole context is that basically the state has allegations of treason and all those things, was putting to Museveni and all those many things. We're not here to this. No, that's another question. Now, imagine. Now, the example here would be that imagine you have like someone you think accused of treason, you thought would kill you, but in a way you should allow mass to be there, to be prayed for. If this was just about prayer, as since they want to be more religious, you can pray from your home, after all, right? Or you can pray from any place. But beyond that, then they claim that you see this guy had 71% win and all that, and therefore he's scared and all these things. But the second person to that was the president of Uganda here, appeared before the European Union. He couldn't even tell the number of constituencies in Uganda. He doesn't know them. The European Union knows more about Uganda than the president of Europe. Knows more about the actions than the president of Europe, who claims were stolen. Now that shows to you on how this is just pure malice. But it's also logical. Now here my friend here was telling us about the order of service, on how everything is written. Anyone who has been a Catholic or who knows how the Catholic and mass is run knows for sure that you cannot write the sermon. You can write in your booklets what will be the first hymn, what will be the first reading and the second reading.
But it's also Edgar.
The sermon.
Perhaps what we should also place to you is that isn't it normal practice for the Catholic Church to pray for the sick, the wounded, the vulnerable, and the incarcerated?
Yes.
Isn't it normal practice?
I will come to that. But it's not normal practice for the church to choose one particular prisoner. Because the reason would be then, because also and also want people to understand the Archbishop. Because someone here was claiming the Archbishop is weak, is a coward. The most coward person is the president, Rope. That who claims he won but he's in hiding. the one who knows nothing about the elections, doesn't even know the number of constituencies that was supposed to vote for him.
That majority minus.
Let me come to that. I'm coming to that.
I think Edgar has.
You must think beyond that.
Okay.
Now think as the Archbishop, right? Margie, imagine what would have happened if the Archbishop neglected the intelligence.
Yes.
Because this is
intelligence.
No, listen,
intelligence.
Listen. Now that's again another pedestrian argument. No one is intelligence. No one. I will not accept to be dragged into the pedestrian argument.
Which is that intelligence?
You can't here try to discuss what is intelligence.
You see, only the
ISO has intelligence.
Let's not heckle.
And let me teach you about law. When you come,
an engineer.
Yes. Let me teach you about law. Let me teach you about law.
An engineer wants to teach about law.
Probably when you should go back to LBC. And be told.
Let's allow Edgar.
When you should go back to LBC and be told about the circumstances under which you can challenge intelligence. We have seen this. For instance, even in the US, where the president will come and say certain things, and only the head of CIA or FBI will come and say we don't have that intelligence. But that can ensue. But now we cannot start discussing who has the intelligence of intelligence. That's the question. Because no one can have the intelligence of intelligence apart from the CIC.
Can I ask?
Now, don't watch. Wait. No, let me go with my point of the CIC. Let me go with my point of the Archbishop.
Okay, accept your question. Yes.
Let me ask Edgar a question. Edgar, a few weeks ago, the entire country was commemorating Archbishop Janan Rum, and it was made a public holiday by Museveni himself. Okay? Yes. So my question is, why did Museveni choose to first of all make Gazette that day as a public holiday because Janan Rum was killed by Amin? Why was he killed, and why did he make it a public holiday?
Okay, very simple. Janan Rum was killed. That's a big deal. It's not about whether he received intelligence and didn't accept it. Beyond that, wait. I want the listeners to understand.
Please, let's
not this issue of the Archbishop. Yes, the Archbishop. I want you to think like the Archbishop. What would happen if the Archbishop receives this intelligence, whether it's right or be false, that we can determine in this studio, and then he neglects it, of which this is politics, remember, Banaji, or the listener. If the state was really that much invested, they could as well go and design something, or even stage a murder, or even stage anything within that institution, within the cathedral. How then will the Archbishop defend himself? When he receives the intelligence, he receives a warning that please hold, we see something wrong, postpone this mass, and then he goes ahead and defies it, and then something sinister happens.
Okay. Thank
Who will defend the Archbishop?
Yes,
I don't want to
yes.
I don't want to descend into personal attacks about terrorists and so forth.
No, he only
raised
something.
At TRDC, we don't study intelligence. You see,
but
study the law.
You study how the law is applied and how the state operates.
Yes, and I'm telling him, intelligence must fall within the confines of public interest. Your intelligence should not override public interest. So I mean, as of now, yes.
What's a dream?
As of now, you see, if you are going to stop a mass because you have intelligence, that intelligence should fit within the boundaries of public interest. That is it in the public interest?
Oh my God!
To employ this.
Yes. Who answers that question? Who answers that question, Council Gwenje?
Who answers that the public interest to use this intelligence to stop a public gathering?
Okay.
Is it? Up till now,
let me get back my microphone.
How illogical?
Let me get back my
microphone. How illogical is that statement?
No. Wait. Let me get back my microphone now.
Up till now, we do not have any piece of intelligence that there is going to be violence arising from that mass, and he who alleges must show by kind of what evidence that evidence is there. So as of now, we don't have that evidence.
Let me bring in Apollo.
But
no. Wait.
let me tell you something.
Yes.
I don't know where we're heading to.
Gentlemen, let's allow Sifa.
Because my belief is that when we come here, there are so many people listening to us, and let's not assume that we are the best and we know much. That is why sometimes when we come to specific topics, Manyaji, I tell you, I hear this, I think, So if it is intelligence and you don't know anything about intelligence, someone is saying intelligence must be in the interest of the public. That is actually treasonous for you to mention. If it were me in power,
let's allow Sifa.
So how can you say that even Banyaji? Bokuba kuno jangu interest, intelligence and general interest the public Banyaji. Tukame twa babes in this country and other countries. Some people are claiming and alluding to the fact that we have not received information. We have not received intelligence. Imebash. Not every Ugandan is supposed to receive every intelligence here and there. Actually, you talked of RDCs in specific districts. There are certain things that happen in districts in RDC because we have ISO, we have CMI, we have all those things and that. So, Mr. Bwenji, I'm surprised that a person in your capacity and stature can stand here and say that intelligence must be in the interest of public. No, because you gave an example. You gave us an example. Banyaji, you gave us an example of Chibweteri. That was public interest. People were worshiping, in quotes, thinking they were worshiping a lot. That is public interest. Banyaji, these rallies that we have had here in politics, it is public interest. You think you go wherever you want and say whatever you want and they leave you. We have seen some arrests and here and there. So let us stop lying to the listeners. Another thing, Banyaji, someone was saying he's asking a question. So I thought it was going to be a question that is going to help us in this debate. But he asked about Jonan Room. Why was it gazetted and whatever? Jonan Room was an archbishop, I think. Yes. That was public interest and it was a national figure. So the president thought it's very important to say that let's, in our recognizing what this person did to this country, let us gazette that as a public. So how is it related to the fact that this mass has been postponed? That was an irrelevant question. They don't even relate to anything.
Okay, let me bring in Apollo.
And let me give up before I give Apollo some time. 1 minute. Stop this pretense and selective application of reactions and whatever and law. In 20, I don't remember the exact year during the times of Mr. Fande. IGP Kaihura. Several mosques were invaded. You alluded to it. People were arrested and all these things happened. Whether they found you praying or not, they arrested and invaded. No one talked about it. But now that just a mere mass has been postponed, you're making noise. That is political and it is absurd that people like you are doing the same.
Thank you, Sifa. Apollo,
yes.
Is it just difficult for the civilian people to understand how the security operates and how statecraft is done? Because if you think that the security agencies are going to conduct themselves like civilians and come and explain and give reasoning, isn't that obnoxious in itself?
First of all, Kasabonji is not actually wrong because.
But is he right?
Is not wrong.
But is he right?
Because we have previously seen fake intelligence. We know there were fake bombs planted in Kampala to justify the military operation budget. We know several people have been arrested and charged of the same. They are somewhere there in the military courts or in military detention. We know recently General was tweeted that he was fed on fake intelligence about the American embassy aiding Bob Wine to escape, and he retracted that, saying that he was fed on wrong intelligence. So also intelligence can be wrong.
Zebra is the biggest example.
Yes.
Zebra Senyange was gunned down by the military, and the president said it was on wrong intelligence.
Yes, so intelligence can be wrong. So that's why I'm saying Kasogwenje is not wrong, because
intelligence can be wrong but can be right.
Yes, I'm saying it can be right, but it can be wrong.
But at least I hosted a military general about 9 or 8 years ago here, and he said the state rather follows wrong intelligence than ignoring it, and then it turns out correct.
Yes, it's okay. Yes, it's fine. So
let's allow Apollo.
Yeah, so fine. So I don't want us to demand because we may not have even that, but what is the information? Are we entitled to that information? All those things. Okay, fine. I'm not going to be part of the group to demand President Museveni to give me a justification as to why he stopped the mass to go on. But we know, of course, religious groups have also. Some governments have risen through religious groups. We know what happens in India with the Hinduism, and the China with the Buddhism, and all these Islamic states in Saudi Arabia, Iran, Afghanistan. We know that you cannot differentiate religion from the state itself. We even have a fully fledged state of Vatican City, headed by the Pope, who is the president of the city. Fully fledged institutions operating under the religious doctrine of the Catholics. So we cannot move away from that. Then we also know that we had Reverend Fathers in 2021, of course, joining more or less like activism. Sifa knows about this. We had so many Reverend Fathers in 2021 joining activism, canvassing votes for a candidate, Chaguranyi. There is even one father who voted and showed the ballot paper to people who were behind and then so no Nelson, I'm sorry. Okay, fine. I'll come to that. So then we also
let's allow Apollo. No. Let's allow Apollo.
That's fine. Then we have seen. I'm saying fine. I'm coming.
Can you right?
Then it has been shaped.
Okay, let's go to the lifeline of the show. The feedback on our social media handles, and definitely I'm going to be opening the numbers so that you call in and then we get to hear from you on 912 Crooze FM on X and 91.2 Crooze FM on Facebook. We put up a question on what is the proper boundary between the state and religious institutions after the president ordered for the postponement of the planned prayers, citing that they were politically motivated. Now, I have Festino Barnard, who is saying the state governs the country. The church guides morally and spiritually. Each should respect the other's role. Simple. You're in Kizova in Bushenyi. Thank you. Akiki Frank says we no longer consider churches as holy places, but business places. That was direct. Then I have Hajermana Fabiani, who is saying the state and the church are inseparable, however much the church can sometimes side on one party. Gilbert Mohanji, you're saying now President Museveni owns religious institutions. I have Andrew Official is saying now in Uganda we can't have church leaders. They are all political cadres of the national resistance movement. I have Baho Owen, who is loving the big seat. He says this government has completely denied justice to Dr. Kisepesije by all means. I have Wargaba, who is appreciating the show and listening in properly. I want to appreciate you, sir. I have Yanga Chagulanyu, who is saying the state and the government have vandalized everything in this country, including churches and religious institutions. Keep the messages coming. I'll be able to read majority of them. Nwajira, David is saying the church is under the state. I don't see any problem. Let me end with a big sitter, and we see you, Nkunda Best Arnold, the former guild president of Bishop Stewart University. He's saying Museveni's hand in church affairs is worrying. Erosion of spiritual autonomy, shame on the interference, but thanks to the Archbishop who allowed the prayers before the president's call-off. Thank you, Best Arnold. Now to the lifeline of the show, the telephone calls on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. Call in. Stick to your name and to the matter on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. The big set.
Yes, Mr. West
Crooze FM, good morning.
I'm going to the from Zasani Shema.
Yes, please.
To the topic in this beautiful morning, I think President Museveni, what he did was not good at all, because that shows that he does not respect the church at all.
Okay. Good morning. Thank you so much. I think that was straight on. Let's get another call on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. Call in and let's get to hear from you. The big set.
Hello.
Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Good morning, Wanyaji. This is Arnold from Bara.
Yes, Arnold.
See, first I've talked about the issue of Archbishop Jonan Room. We have people who died in Chugwete incident. Why can't Museveni create a day for those people and we also recognize them?
Okay.
Why should we neglect them and then say that this is very special? Sifa should revise how to talk anyway.
Yeah, but Sifa had nothing to do with that. On 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. The big set.
Yes, good morning, Wanyaji.
Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
I'm called Honest from Bushenyi.
Yes, please.
I want to thank all the people you are having for the good discussions you are doing.
Please.
Now, on that very issue of suspending that service, the intelligence, if it is having information that there is something that might happen, it was right to suspend. What if that service has went on and something strange happens? What will be the discussion after? So the president was very right, honest from shame.
All right, that was spot on 752 912 912 and 780 912 910. Call in and let's get to hear from you on what you think about the president ordering a postponement of the prayers that were slated to happen at Lubaga Cathedral. The big set. Hello, caller.
Hello.
What's your name and where are you calling from?
This is Emmanuel from Marara, Lugazi.
Yes, Emmanuel.
Yes, I'm happy for the panelists in the studio. Upon that call, I think the institution of the church and the institution of the government, maybe somehow they did not connect. Why? Because the intelligence that they are talking about might have been something that was organized by other people, and it just came in the form of the church, just to cover people's eyes that it is the church that has organized, and yet there must be connection with the other people. So I think the government and President Museveni's response to that thing is right, because it was not even the right time to happen. So thank you.
All right, you appreciated. Let's pick one more call before I come to Engineer Kankwasa here on 752 912 912 and 780 912 910. Call in and let's get to hear from you. Now, Agava, I miss you. Madilu in Hima, my regards, Chris and Saja, then Zubail Kayongo, and there's so many Aden contributors of the big set. There is a gentleman called Samra Kojo in Zimbabwe, a big seater for many years. I think he went to the Arab world or something. It's been long when we last heard from him. On 752 912 912 and 780 912 910. The big set.
Yes, Mr. Banyaji.
Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
This is Appleman. We are 2 miles.
Yes, Appleman.
Yeah, I think Mr. President was right to postpone, because the intelligence in abantu ababulijjo tebibakwata ko.
All right. Yes, Engineer.
You see,
you've heard from the callers.
All we are trying to debate actually here, Wesige, is an indicator of weakened institutions, is an indicator of consolidation of power, and actually strongman syndrome. Because you see, you have LDCs, you have ISO, you have ESO, you have the CIDs, you have all the intelligence infrastructure. But you as a president, you said you gathered intelligence, you dispatched information, you made a call to the Archbishop, but no one in your intelligence infrastructure is aware of that information. This is a sign of strongman syndrome and consolidation of power, that only one man is able to control and govern everything. You see, it is not even dramatic as you are trying to say, but this is true. If you have institutions, let them work. If you have LDCs, if you have anything to do with security, let them actually do their work. Because even right here we are speaking, we are actually debating about just a phone call, not even a statement. The president has staff, the PPU, he has the
maybe
has everything.
Maybe Mr. Simwe and you, Mr. Kankwasa.
Yes.
Have you considered the information that is before the public that Dr. Besigye is behind bars for planning to destabilize the peace of our country, for is on charges of terrorism and treason, and these are serious offenses against the state.
But this is not the first time actually Besigye is having such cases, treason cases. You remember in 2016 he also had the same cases, treason cases, and he has never been convicted. He has never been charged in criminal courts and sentenced to actually imprisonment or whatever.
I also want my friend here
to
consider the fact that some people, when they listen to us speak, they think what you are saying is fact. So when you make a claim such as that Museveni said so and so, but no one in intelligence, no one knows about it.
Has anyone from intelligence
have you asked? They don't have to come out. Have you asked anyone? Tell us that there was an interview of the ISO director and he says he didn't know.
Is this how things should be?
Yes.
Is this how
you can't make a claim that the president has issues and no one. Yes, and no one in the intelligence community knows about it. That's a very, very.
It is up to Edgar.
Thank you.
So you don't make that.
It is up to Edgar.
Yes.
High school debate.
No. It is up to Edgar to tell us who except Museveni has that information. Because Museveni, you see, Museveni is not the generator of intelligence. He's a consumer.
Yes.
So there must have been a person who generated that.
And that person comes and tells you. He goes on TV.
So
and
guys,
that's the person. I've submitted my report to Museveni.
Let's listen.
Intelligence is not like agriculture where you have people on TV saying Musakukinga bitoche ningente numulisa. Intelligence is intelligence.
Yes.
What Apollo talked about states like Iran, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Afghanistan, Vatican City, where there's a fusion of the church and the state. Okay? But that fusion in Uganda, are we together?
Yes.
That fusion, as I see you.
Yes, I was signaling
that
to my
fusion
producer,
between the church and the state, or between the faith of the state and the state, is not in Uganda. Because the framers of our constitution provided under Article 7 of the same that Uganda shall not adopt a state religion.
Yes.
Now, the essence of that is that Uganda is a secular state where the church is independent of the state, and the state is also independent of the church. So the state should not involve itself in the activities of the church in as far as those activities.
I don't know which ones
no. But in as far as those activities.
Allow him.
Yes, in as far as those activities do not endanger the public interest.
Yes. Now let me question that range.
And the threshold here is public interest. See, the government of Uganda, or the NRM has a social contract with the people of Uganda.
Thank you, boy.
In whatever the government does, it must serve the public interest.
Okay.
If it does not, it should not be done.
Okay.
Even that intelligence, it should help a government to serve the public interest. And if that intelligence is not there, or if it does not serve the public interest to help the government serve its people, then it's not intelligence, and it does not help the ordinary person of Uganda.
Thank you. Please, as you conclude, as we get out of this particular topic.
Now, more than the public interest, the intelligence does not care about public interest. It doesn't.
No.
Listen, and learn. If the intelligence is that in this market there's going to be a bomb, we don't care that you needed to get some money for your child's school fees. We will come and intervene. That's how intelligence works.
That's individual.
Secondly, when we talk about the state and the region being different, this is what it means. Let me interpret it for you, and I'm sure your friends that already see will also help you with an explanation. Just like how
this man left LBC many years ago. No.
Once went there.
This is not about lawyers or.
Now listen. Okay, now let me interpret for you now. When we say range, that the region and the state are different.
Yes.
Oh, it's just like the same thing. For instance, if Museveni got intelligence that is going to be something in this school, he can close that school. The same way, if there was going to be a bomb at a church, he can close mass. So that's what it ideally means. It doesn't mean that because this is the church, massacre can happen, but you know what? We don't have to interfere. These are church affairs. We can't touch the church.
How about Ugandans who
say? That's what it means.
How about Ugandans who say we see the level of crime increasing? We see panga wielding men on video. We see all these acts. Where is the intelligence? Is the intelligence only active in elements
when the election ends? When the election ends, the intelligence ends.
Okay.
Yes. Now for that one, Mr. Maraji, it's because
please get to the microphone. Let Asima give us that information.
Thank you, Wesege. You see, the information I wanted to give and to prove these fellows who are believing that there was intelligence and of which there was no intelligence, it was purely political. The service happened. Even without the Archbishop, the service happened. Salam Musumba led the service. They had prayers. after prayers, they even addressed the media, and they went. So where was that intelligence? The prayers happened in the church.
In Lubaga?
Yes, in Lubaga, yes.
By a priest?
No.
What do you mean?
There is no mass. No mass. Now let me look.
The problem.
There is no mass in the Catholic Church.
No.
That happens not being led by a priest.
Yes, Sifa.
But how can someone come here proudly and say that the prayers were led by Salam Musumba? In what capacity? Anyway, but let me answer the caller that asked me a question.
Let's have order.
When you say that,
which order now?
No. When you say that there was intelligence, so the point I'm making here is that people came. They entered the cathedral. It was full to its capacity. People had prayers and nothing happened. They went back home. So, who was the problem?
Okay.
Who was going to cause the problem? The bishop was the problem. The bishop was the problem.
Yeah.
The one who was
we are going to another topic for the next.
The listeners out there, what Nelson is saying is that you take your child to school and their biology teacher has been expelled, but the gate man came in and talked to them. Somehow now they grant.
Okay.
You said that there was
Okay. Can I have my microphones back? All right. Sifa, let's conclude on this matter and I engage you on something else.
Yeah, one, someone said that how can the president have information when no one in his intelligence structure has the information? That sounds not even just funny, but I don't know what. Akangwasa, how many intelligence people have you talked to and they tell you they didn't have the information? Secondly, Banyaji, it is absurd. It is very absurd that someone says, how can the president talk to someone on phone? For your information, there are people that the president talks to directly. If he doesn't talk to you, then some people he does to some people. So it is not funny that the president can call an archbishop. He has called so many people. And lastly, someone said that there is intelligence is not. Let me tell you, intelligence is not like agriculture, I said, or even education, where the minister comes on TV and says primary school, secondary school, school fees and all that. It is different. There are people who consume intelligence and not every Ugandan does. But finally, there is a caller who told me, who asked a question about Chigwete, that there should be a day gazetted for people who died at Chigwete's place and all that. One, Sebo, I'm not the person who gazettes these days. But secondly,
yes.
General room cannot be compared to these people who died there. And thirdly, wait.
Let's allow Sifa conclude.
Thirdly, Banyaji, the next thing you will hear people saying, let's gazette a day for girls who are bought. Someone else will come out and say, let's gazette a day for single mothers. So if you talk of gazetting, you go and talk to government, they know the procedures and they will do that. We feel so bad for the people who lost their people at Chigwete's place, but it's not you who gazettes these days. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I want to appreciate the callers, the listeners and the contributors on our social media handles. We are going to talk about the speakership race for the next about 30 minutes that we hear. We know that Norbert Mao, the President General of the Democratic Party, has made a declaration that is out to unseat the Right Honorable Anita Among from the speakership. And then in the 12th Parliament is going to be kind of interesting. But we know certainly there was communication from the Central Executive Committee of the National Resistance Movement to mean that there was an endorsement of the incumbents to retain their positions as Speaker and Deputy respectively. Apollo Tumusime. Does Norbert Mao or Namganza Pasi stand a chance, and in which spirit are they coming?
First of all, Norbert Mao came in to say that there was no official declaration from SEC, that it was a self-declaration engineered by the beneficiary, Right Honorable AAA, and her deputy. So first of all, I am so much interested to see what happens. I'm happy for how things are unfolding. You should know that Norbert Mao, from his position as the chairman of the Democratic Party, and how he ended up writing an MOU with NRM, how he ended up becoming a minister for justice, how he ended up standing in the Raropeche division in Uguru City, and how he became a member of parliament. It is not something that was that just rained like raindrops, but it was planned and strategic. He is also aware that to become a speaker, you need the support of the majority in this parliament. Of course, the NRM has the majority, so you need the support of the majority, and how the speaker position is given in the past. for all the times that you have had, it has to do with the SEC and the chairman of the NRM, who is President Museveni. So President Museveni is the one who appoints the speaker, who gives the speaker position, I would say. It's a bad precedent, of course. We would want to see members of parliament having their own right to select who they think is the most preferred person to lead them. But then this is President Museveni. So when you see Mao speaking with this a lot of energy, it means that he has information, or he has hopes, or he has already an initiated discussion that has already taken place between him, his party, and the NRM and chairman of the NRM, President Museveni. So let's see how it goes. But personally, I'm much interested in this, and I will be the happy person, the most happiest person, if Right Honorable Anita Among Anet, who has been allegedly, of course, so many cases against her in terms of corruption and misconduct, gross misconduct. We've seen how she is.
Perhaps you refer to them as allegations.
Yes, allegations.
Cases,
of course. Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, allegations. Allegedly, of course, we know what happened at Parliament. The 11th Parliament was, or 12th Parliament was something else. So I'm happy to see that they should come and battle it out. I would love to see NRM leaving them, all of them, Mao, Namuganza, Wanyuto, Anita Mong, just to run a race, and then the MPs decide who should lead them.
Okay, thank you. Edgar, is the President General of the Democratic Party reading from a fly on the wall to indicate that perhaps the real owners of power in this country could be jeered in having him installed, if you call it, as Speaker of the 12th Parliament?
Yeah, I think also, as my brother here has already mentioned, most likely we know this is 7 decision. I hope maybe Mao has indeed gotten some talks give him the confidence. But personally, I think it will be a disaster. But I also think Mao left on his own. If really the party decided to leave and 7 decides to take a backstage, give them a platform, I don't think there's any world in which Mao can beat Anita Mong. There's no any world in which he can. I also think Mao has a particular disadvantage. I met him personally during the time when he became a minister. And I also met Mao personally many times when we were just a DP party president. There's some humility Mao had that time, and then there's the new Mao who became a minister.
Even if it were you.
Exactly. Now, and that has most likely actually caused him a lot of problems. I know for sure. There's even a colleague I had when I met Mao recently, and that colleague was from that region of Mao's. He wanted to talk to Mao, asking to just talk to him so that they can strategize, and Mao brushed him off immediately, like they didn't want to even shake his hand. Now that colleague of mine has actually now been elected to go to the 12th Parliament. So I can imagine when he meets him and he'll be like, now it's time to pay you back. So actually, so Mao has had the opportunity to become a minister, but also that opportunity has given him platform to make enemies, because he thought he had power and all that. So there's that illusion he thought he had. But also when you know Mao, a little more personally, beyond these nice speeches he gives that sound intelligent and this nice storytelling, he's a very political and very controversial man.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think he'll win.
Ronald Akankwata, we know that this Mao gentleman is not coming out of the blue. His history is rich. He was president of guild president of Makerere University, very active in the UID. You know, he's been on the political scene for the longest we've known. And we know that the Chief of Defense Forces said, well, there are elements within opposition that we find very brilliant, and we can actually work and collaborate. Is this the spirit in which Mao is coming to stand as Speaker of the 12th Parliament?
Actually, if it was the election of the Speaker, if it was a question of competence, I think Mao would be the best candidate. You have had the Speaker for the last 5 years, Anita Mong, who actually Mao says she's an accidental Speaker of Parliament because she came into office after the death of the late
and actually that was rebutted by Kabanda, who said he also became a minister accidentally.
by accident. But I think, in my personal opinion, Anita Mong has not been the Speaker we deserve as a country. on how she has been able to handle Parliament. You remember the controversial Coffee Act, the statements she mentioned that don't let those Baganda get the numbers. You remember the parliamentary exhibition, how jobs in Parliament actually got. You have to be knowing someone, and she has influenced everything. You know how extravagant the 11th Parliament has been. Huge billions of money being swindled, and how these MPs actually get trips. So I think Anita Among shouldn't be the next speaker, and Mao should be the right candidate. But apart from that, I think even Mao, even if he doesn't get this position as the Speaker of Parliament, something bigger might be coming for him. Okay. Either he would be appointed as a Prime Minister or something like that. And he is a huge resource to tap in as a country. Remember, like I said, that Museveni has ways of dealing with opposition. If you are intelligent and he can work with you, he will give you a job, like Mao is doing right now. And I think he's a good resource to the country.
Okay. Sifa, there is a new word in town that is referred to people who are determined, strong, zealous. It's called Gumite. There is a lady from Bokono, the Honorable Persis Namugaza. I think she fits the true description of Gumite. Against all odds, she wants to unseat Anita Annette Among. Your take?
Yes, thank you so much. I like her passion and commitment and zeal. But if you ask me personally, I don't think she can make it. Not because that I'm underrating her capability and what, but I think compared to these other people, because if you asked me, the race is between the current speaker and Mr. Mao. Then if it was an elimination method, you know the first two people that would have left already. So we are going to wait and see. Unfortunately, we are not voters, but what I know, each of these people has merits over another. For example, when you talk of leadership skills and experience, you know who takes it between Mao and Anita Among. Talk of international recognition, you know who takes it. Talk of brilliance in the issue of articulating issues and all that, you know who I'm talking about. But then there is this issue of money, which is usually determinant in Parliament. You know also who is ahead of another when it comes to money and all that. But at the end of the day, I know that the president has a lot to do with the election of the leadership of Parliament. And other people, of course, stakeholders, that is ministers and a few political players in this country. So we are waiting to see what happens, but I'm so much interested in this. If you asked me, yes, Anita Among did what she did, especially to do with campaigning for the president. I know that is going to contribute something for her, but I cannot rule out the fact that if Mao was given this chance, he would really ably lead Parliament.
Let me engage Nelson at this point. With Namuganza having had to fight all those wars in Parliament, they wanted her sanctioned. Literally, the president did not oblige. They wanted her literally beaten in the primaries. She was beaten, came back as an independent, but by God's grace or effort, she bounced back. And she knows there are elements within Parliament that have been behind all these machinations to prevent her from being in Parliament. She has decided to take them on. What is your take?
And you've forgotten that there was a time when Museveni was in Usoga, and I think that, a meeting was organized by Among. Then Namuganza and Kadaga were not called, so when Museveni's time to speak came, he first asked the question, where is Kadaga and where is Namuganza?
Yeah.
And then you, as you rightly said, her censure motion was led and spearheaded, and everything was done by Anita. But what happened after the censure? The lady remained a minister, and up to now she's still a minister. So you cannot underestimate. We don't know what is that unseen power behind that lady. Then number two, even Mao, you cannot underestimate Mao, because what happened after the death of Oranya, before Oranya's death, by the way, Oranya is the one who seduced Mao to join the NRM. So in the process, before the process was concluded, it was unfortunate that Oranya died, but at the end of it all, it was fruitful. So among the things that they signed after the death of Oranya was that Mao should become a speaker, but it was impossible because he wasn't a member of Parliament. So they paved the way for him to become a member of Parliament, and to prove that, there was a meeting that was held between Mao, Muhoozi and some other people, because they agreed that once Mao becomes a speaker, then they will bring a law in parliament whereby parliament will say that it will be now we shall move from presidential to parliamentary, and then Mao will pave a way for Muhoozi. So that one you can also you shouldn't underestimate that. So, but in my view, whether Mao or Among or Namuganza or Wanyoto or even you Banyaji, first of all, in Uganda, yes, we don't have a parliament. We only have Museveni, who puts on someone's body in form of Amonga, Banyaji or whoever, and then presides over that useless house. It is very useless because it is not working for Ugandans, it is working for a family, and then those individuals who are there, they are just working for themselves. So nothing good can come from that useless house, whether Mao is the speaker, whether Among is the speaker. But lastly, there will be a determinant factor. And I've had very many NRM people, including some MPs. Another Jew, for us another. But let me tell you, in NRM, it's Museveni who decided. And I'm praying hard. And I'm waiting for an opportunity. When Museveni will decide on who will become the speaker, and that person won't be Anita Among, you will see now these fellows running around like defending, like how they are defending his demonic thing of stopping a service. And they say, yeah, he's right. By the way, now they will get all the bad things that Among has done. But all in all, she has been the worst speaker ever that this country has ever had. So my prayer, though it is a useless house, but we shouldn't have a useless fellow like Among leading that.
Thank you, Asima Nelson. Let me get to the lifeline of the show. They've gotten some feedback. Dismas Aizuka from Chigezi Agricultural College in Ndokunjiri, you are sending regards to the panel, and you're saying to the matter, the president was not right to interfere with the religious affairs intended to pray for someone in the public. In pinning him for illegal detention in prison, more so, he would have suggested a possible solution for the Holy Mass not to be postponed without public notice. Thank you for that feedback. I have a couple of people that are sending in messages. Stuart Kagahe, you're listening in from Katete. I appreciate you. Kabanjara Arias, you're listening in from Kasese, and you're watching live, and you're saying you're praying for Dr. Vesye and the breast. Okay.
Yes, I want to.
Council Wendy could not even wait for the question. Please.
I thought it was our parting shot.
Please.
So before I make a submission on Mao and so forth, I want to invite Safi and the
Edgar.
Yes, and Edgar to interest themselves in knowing the distinction between public interest and individual interest. The intelligence must serve the public interest, not the individual interest. And I think they are confusing the two. The public interest vis-a-vis the individual interest.
Our time is fast spent. Unless you're not going to talk about...
Because if intelligence serves the individual interest, it can be falsified.
Not individual, but the state.
So
you should know that.
As I wind up Walton Mao, if you want to be the best, then you should beat the best. So I don't have any issue with Mao and the others are standing, as long as the members of parliament have the right and they exercise it and they appoint. Or of course, it is going to be an appointment. But whoever it is, Mao or Among, I don't have any hope in all of them because they are all stooges of the CDF.
Okay, maybe let me give this 1 minute that I'm left with to Edgar and Apollo. It looks like the NRM or those that run the state are orchestrating something very different, where it could beat tradition. Previously, we know Honorable Sekandi was Deputy Speaker for 10 years, Speaker for 10 years. The Right Honorable Kadaga, Speaker for Deputy Speaker 10 years, Speaker 10 years. And now Among, who is barely 10 years into office, is having a lot of force to have her out. Should this be business as usual? Why break a tradition?
We said that intelligence should be for individuals. We said it should be for state. It's not for public consumption, though.
It's safer. Yes.
Yes, I think for that analysis. Also, I think in terms of games, we can tell that Anita Mong, in his maybe 4 years or 3 years of being a speaker, has earned much more resources than the Kadagas and others who served for almost 20 years combined as deputy and then as full.
Okay.
But also, I think, like you mentioned, from our and Anita Mong has also her powers. He's a good mobilizer, but also now is not that clean. We must know what kind of injustices and what has happened under him as the Justice and Constitutional Affairs Minister.
Okay, Apollo, there are little known individuals. For example, the woman MP for Masindi, Honorable Akiki, and there's been a precedent of dare the president by standing, and he sees you're trying to catch the eye of the appointing authority by declaring your interest. Oboth made it to cabinet that way. Thomas Tayebwa made it to cabinet that way, and even speakership that way. Is there a way that these members of parliament now want to be seen by the president by standing for some of these positions?
We already have one who is going to be part of the cabinet, and that is son of Basaja Varava. He's called Idi
Jafari.
No, Idi. Yeah. The Idi Basaja, the MP elect for Shakau municipality. So he was the one to first announce for the deputy speakership position, and has since been promised to be part of the cabinet. So
where is that information coming from?
We have the information. I know that one I can bet. I can bet my hand.
We are getting out of studio. I want to appreciate you, Apollo Tumsime. Thank you so much. Thank you, Edgar Mtunsa. Thank you, Nelson Asima. It's been a long time coming. Good to see you. Thank you, Ronald Akankwata. Thank you, Council Bwende Did. Thank you, Sifa Safi. For those that have contributed by way of call or the messages that you've sent us, we want to appreciate you so much. We have news at the top of the hour. May God bless you. Please, those that are breaking into houses, killing our people, and all this criminality that is happening, we're a country of peace. Let's meet next Saturday on the big set. My name is Wesige Bananji. My regards to my learning friends at the Law Development Center that have been locked onto the radio. You are appreciated. Let's meet next Saturday on the big set. Good morning.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of this radio station or its management.
This radio is regulated by
The back to school season should not be stressful period for you, because MTN Momo School Fees Loan has got you covered. Get a school fees loan on Momo straight to your child's school and pay school fees instantly. Dial *165*80# to apply for a school fees loan and pay school fees. You also get a chance to win school fees